Polwen Sabona to Milan, Dimlo. Alright, I'm Mr. Simons. Welcome. Yeah, we're looking at just a basic assignment, 24 marks and the solutions, right? I've loaded it up. Shouldn't see it already by now. So yeah, yes, a little bit more complex problems, but we will work through all of them and get you used to answering them. So look at problem number 1, or 1.1. They say simplify. Given me base b, 3 over 4, raised to a further exponent, 2, times 6th root of p to the power 5 raised to 3 divided by p, 3 over 9, negative 9. Alright, so Lord 3, 2 times 3 would give me 6, so that's 6 over 4. The square root can be written as a rational exponent, so the exponent inside goes on top and the exponent on the outside goes at the bottom. So that's p 5 over 6 raised to the power 3 divided by negative 9 times 3 would give me negative 27 over the 9. Right? So they have p 6 over 4 times 3 times 5 gives me 15 over 6 divided by, I assume you know, negative 27 divided by 9 is negative 3. Right? If we simplify, 3 goes in, or 2 goes in 6 3 times and 2 goes in 4 2 times. 3 goes in 15 5 times, 3 goes in 6 2 times, divided by p negative 3. Right? That fraction and that fraction has the same denominator, so therefore I can add the numerators. So that simply becomes 3 times 5 over 2. Right? Division means we have to subtract, so that becomes minus 3. So 3 plus 5 gives me 8. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. Negative and negative become positive, so 4 plus 3 gives me 7, and I have p to the power 7. So there, 1 mark for correctly multiplying and simplifying, another mark for simplification of that whole line there, last mark for final answer. Right, in 1.2 I have x2 over 3 minus y negative a quarter, x2 over 3 plus y to the negative a quarter. So we assume you can see this bracket and that bracket as the same terms, but one is negative and the other one is positive. So first we're testing difference of two squares. So this x in the middle, I'm simply putting to the side, right? So there, x times x, when the bases are the same and we're multiplying, we add the exponent. So that becomes 2 plus 2 over 3. And negative times positive gives me negative. Again, denominators are the same, so we add the numerators, minus 1 over 4 times x. So 2 over 2, 2 plus 2 gives me 4 over 3. Right? And if I'm timesing by x, I'm simply adding the 1 from that x plus 4 over 3. The x times y would simply become negative x. And the negative 1 gives me negative 2 over 4. 1 plus 4 over 3, I can write as 1 and 4 over 3. Or I can say 3 times 1 plus 4 gives me 7 over 3. Minus x there is positive. There 2 goes in 4 twice, so that becomes negative a half. But to make it positive, I have to take it to the bottom, so it becomes positive half. Right, so 1 mark there for correct multiplication. Another mark for correctly multiplying x in. 1 mark for correctly expressing the final answer. So hope you understand. Is anything that's not clear you want me to re-explain, feel free to comment. And I will see what I can do to assist you. Right, 1.3, as I said, in general, there will be multiplication and division of exponents. Right, so they have that exponent raised to the power 3, that raised to the power 2, and this raised to the power 3. That's a prime number, but 12 not. Right, so according to law 4, negative would stay negative there because it's 3. So if it's an odd number, it stays negative. If it was an even number, that would have become a positive. Right, so negative 3 has the invisible exponent of 1, so 1 times 3 becomes 3. The x cubed, 3 times 3 would give me x9. Therefore y minus 2 times 3 gives me negative 6. Times Again, take note, 2 has the invisible 1, so 1 times 2 becomes 2. The x, negative 1 times 2 becomes negative 2. Negative 3 times 2 becomes negative 6. The bottom here, I'm going to change negative 12. Again, it's raised to the power 3, so the negative would stay negative. 12 can be expressed as 4 times 3, or simply put 2 squared times 3 to the power 3. There, multiply those out, so negative 2 times 3 gives me negative 6. 2 times 3 gives me 6. Right, now if I leave the top line as it appears, so there 9. Negative 3 to the power 3 times 2 squared. X and x, bases are the same, we're multiplying, so we add the exponent, so that becomes 9 minus 2. Y times y, negative 6, right? Add the exponents. The bottom now, 2 times 3 would give me 2 to the power 6. And 3 to the power 1, 1 times 3 would give me 3 to the power 3. My x is still negative 6 and my y is still 6. Right? Negative divided by negative would become a positive, so the negatives fall away. I start here with base 2, 2 to the power 2. If I come below, I have to change the sign. You follow? If I come below, I have to change the sign, so therefore that becomes 2 minus 6. Right, for base 3, I have 3 to the power 3. Come below, change the sign, so there 3 minus 3. 9 minus 2 would give me 7. If I come below, negative 6, so that becomes 7 plus 6. For y on top, minus 6 becomes negative 12, and negative 12 minus 6. There, minus 12 minus 6. So 2 minus 6 for base 2 becomes 2 negative 4. 3 minus 3 becomes 3 to the power 0. 7 plus 6 gives me x to the power 13 and y negative 18. Remember, I don't want negative exponents in the final answer. So 2 to the negative 4 is taken to the bottom and becomes 2 to the power 4. 3 to the power 0, anything raised to the power 0 becomes 1. X 13, if I bring this to the bottom, y negative 18 becomes y to the power 18. So final answer, x to the power 13, 2 to the power 4 is 16, y to the power 18. Sorry there for that error. Somehow I typed 14 instead of 18, so that must read 18 there. Right, but 1 mark there for correct multiplication. Another mark here for simplification and multiplying, third law. 1 mark for law 2 and law 1. So now we have surds, subtraction and addition of surds. So generally to add or subtract anything, they must be like terms. So there 147 is the same as saying 49 times 3. I find the perfect square in 147. 108 is the same as saying 36 times 3. So 36 is the perfect square. 98 is the same as saying 49 times 2, where 49 is my perfect square. 72 is the same as saying 36 times 2, where 36 is my perfect square. I have to have this line to ensure I get 1 mark. But if you press on your calculator square root 147, it will say 7 square root 3. If you want to crook the system, you just, to work back there, you see 7 times 7 is 49. But yeah, square root 49 gives me 7 square root 3. See, 6 times 6 gives me 36. So square root 36 gives me negative 6 square root 3. 7 times 7 gives me 49. So square root 49 becomes 7 square root 2. And 6 times 6 gives me 36. So square root of 36 is 6 square root 2. So if you punch this in the calculator, you will get this line. That's 1 mark, but you don't have the line on top, because this will say without a calculator, we basically give you 0 for all 3, right? So there's 7 minus 6. My square root 3s are like terms. 7 minus 6 gives me 1 square root 3. And there's 7 minus 6 gives me 1 square root 2. So my final answer, square root 3 minus square root 2. So there's my answer. 1.5. I have square root 32 x6 minus square root 8 x6. They have 3 times square root 2 times cube root of x to the power 9. Right, so x to the power 6 divided by the 2 would become x cubed. 32 perfect square and 32, 16 times 2. The x to the power 6 square root of that would give me x cubed. And perfect square and 8, 4 times 2. Bottom 3 times square root 2, 9 divided by 3 gives me x cubed. Right, now if I simplify further, square root of 16 would give me 4x cubed. And square root 2, I can't find the value of square root 2. Square root 4 becomes 2 x cubed, and square root 2 stays behind. Bottom, that simply becomes 3x cubed square root 2. Right, now those two, as you can see, are like terms. So what is 4 minus 2 gives me 2x cubed square root 2. The bottom I have 3x cubed square root 2. So square root 2 and square root 2 cancel, x cubed and x cubed cancel. Now I'm left with 2 over 3. So there, 1 mark for correctly getting the perfect squares, and another mark for correctly finding cube and square roots of the variable x. Here, 1 mark for correctly simplifying, and then 1 mark for my final answer, which then gives me your 4 marks. So I hope you're enjoying the test so far. Let's look at the next set of problems. Right, so 1.6, I have 3 square root 48 minus 3 square root 175 plus 2 square root 108. I'm testing distributive law. Can we multiply in? So 3 times square root 48. Remember, without a calculator, so perfect square in there, 16 times 3. Minus 3 times, or positive times negative, gives me negative. 3 times 3, and 75 can be written as 25 times 3. 25 being the perfect square. Then I have positive times positive, which say positive. 3 times 2, and 49 would be square root 49 times 3. Now square root of 16 would give me 4 square root 3 minus, I assume you know 3 times 3 is 9. Square root 25 gives me 5 square root 3. 3 times 2 would give me 6 square root 49, 7 square root 3. If I multiply out, 3 times 4 gives me 12 square root 3. 9 times 5 would give me negative 45 square root 3. 6 times 7 would give me 42 square root 3. So 12 plus 42 gives me 54 minus 45, because they're like terms, 9 square root 3. Right, so 1 mark for correct multiplication, another mark for correctly simplifying my perfect squares, 1 mark for correct multiplication, and 1 mark for the final answer. Right, so please subscribe so you can stay up to date. Let's look at the last problem. Right, so in 1.4 they've given me 6x a quarter minus 3y half, 36x half minus 9y. So generally when you see exponents given in this format in fractions, I assume you can see what I'm saying. What's 6 times 6? 36, ne? 3 times 3, 9. A quarter plus a quarter gives me half, and a half plus half gives me 1. So therefore the top line would stay the same, and I have to factorize the bottom line. So there, 36 becomes 6 times 6. For half, it must be a quarter, so x a quarter times x a quarter. Right, for negative, becomes negative and positive. Remember, it's perfect square, so 9 becomes 3 and 3. And y becomes y half times y half to get y1. Right, those two are the same, so they cancel. And I'm left now with the 1 on top, and 6x a quarter plus 3y half. So 2 marks for correctly factorizing with the correct fraction, and 1 mark for the final answer. Right, remember to believe in yourself. Remember to be prepared to work hard, be disciplined, persevere. Success is on your doorstep. Wish you nothing but the best. Bye.